What's up, YouTube? This is your boy John from the Jersey Shore, and I'm back with you today to talk about Alejandro Aja's 2006 remake of The Hills Have Eyes. If you're already a subscriber to my channel, welcome back. It's good to see you again. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and click that subscribe button now. Get that out of the way. The Hills Have Eyes was directed by Alejandro Aja, and it was starring Daniel Bird, Aaron Sanford, and Ted Levine. I knew I recognized Ted Levine, but I couldn't place him. Then it dawned on me that he was Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. Okay, so this movie starts off with text on the screen talking about the nuclear testing that the United States was doing in, decades ago in the New Mexico desert. So the movie starts off with a family traveling through the desert of New Mexico. The father decides there's a much faster route to get to San Diego, which is their destination. But the father says, well, I like to drive, and I want to take the scenic route. So he's taking his entire family through the hills and the desert of New Mexico. They stop to fuel up, and some guy there, he's sort of a derelict. He seems like sort of the town imbecile. He's running this gas station, and he finds a dog runs out of the family camper and runs inside of this restaurant/apartment. So one of the girls in the family goes inside to find the dog. She gets the dog, but she notices that there's a bag on the counter. Inside of that bag is a video camera and a whole bunch of jewelry and a whole lot of different personal effects. So you can see it in her eyes as she feels like something's not quite right. While she's looking at this stuff, the derelict gas pumping guy, he comes up behind her and says, "Can I help you with something, miss?" She seems startled. She goes back outside. Derelict goes outside after him. Everybody's back in the truck and in the camper. They're getting ready to head off. Gas dude comes up to the window and tells the father, who is driving, that if you go down the road a couple of miles, there's a fence and there's an immediate left-hand turn, and that'll probably save you a couple miles on your, a couple hours of driving on your trip. Initially, Dad says that he wants to take the scenic route. That's why they're out here in the desert in the first place. But now he must have had a change of heart. He takes the gas dude's advice, and he takes that left-hand turn, which is supposed to be a shortcut, cut down his driving time a little bit. While he's driving down this road, suddenly appearing up out of the sand are spikes. He drives over those spikes, he loses control of his vehicle, and he crashes into a big-ass rock. At this point, the truck is totaled, the axle's broken, all four tires are flat, and these guys are stranded. They are in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico. So now they're out in the middle of the desert. They have no cell phone reception. There are no stores in sight. There is no traffic going by. There is no sign of life anywhere out in this desert. So what they decide to do is Dad walks in one direction, another dude walks in another direction. He's the husband of the daughter. He's the son-in-law. So the two men go in opposite directions trying to find anything to help them. The son-in-law comes across a crater that is created by one of the nuclear bombs from back decades ago. He walks down into there. He finds it to be very odd that he sees cars parked down there. He goes down in this giant crater, and it's almost like a junkyard. There's go-karts in there, there's cars in there, there's SUVs in there, there's campers, buses, everything is in there. The only thing that's not in there is any sign of life. So he's down there, and he's looting through some of these cars. When he winds up going back to camp, he's got a baseball bat, he's got a fishing rod out in the middle of the desert. Buffalo Bill, on the other hand, he's not so lucky. He comes across the people who actually flattened the tires on the truck, and his luck has seemed to have run out. So unfortunately for these guys, what they have come across out here is what appears to be a bunch of mutated mountain people who are out in the desert robbing and scavenging and murdering anything and everybody that they come across. That is where the bag of goods came across that was at the gas station. That's why there's all those vehicles parked down inside of that crater. It's because this family of derelicts is killing everybody and robbing them. So eventually the son-in-law makes his way back to camp. But now the younger boy, he's out there. It's dark. He's out looking for one of the dogs. He comes across the dog, but he realizes that the dog has been cut open. The dog was not just simply attacked and killed by something. You would think maybe a coyote or a rattlesnake, something out there may have gotten the dog. That's what he initially is worried about. When he approaches the dog, he realizes that the dog has in fact been cut open. He runs away. As he's running back, he falls down a little bit of a cliff, knocks himself out. Daylight goes away, or night falls, and a sister goes out there and finds him and brings him back. So now everybody's back at camp except for the father. Suddenly, there's a bunch of noise outside and a fire erupts. They look out there and there's the father. The father is strapped to a tree outside and he is set on fire. He's out there being burned alive. So everybody rushes out of the camper, rushes over to try and save him. While they're doing that, these mutated freaks run inside of the camper and they rape one daughter, they murder another daughter, they steal a baby, they cause all kinds of crazies. They shoot the mother and they run away. Now they run away, they got the baby. The mother's dead, a daughter's raped, the father's dead. So you got the two, you got the young boy who's back, you have the brother-in-law or the son-in-law is there, the daughter who has been beaten and raped. So now what they got to do is they got to figure out a way to get this baby back and to get out of this place alive. All right, that's it. A lot of my reviews lately, I've been giving too many spoilers away, and I've probably given too much information away about this movie already. I'm not going to tell you anything else. One thing I will say is that the characters that you thought were going to survive in this movie, maybe not so much. They didn't survive, or at least the way I've looked at it. The initial person that I thought was going to be the final girl or the final character did not make it. One of the ones that I thought would make it actually did make it. And there was another person who I thought with absolute certainty was going to die and probably be the first one to die, did survive. So they kind of throw you for a loop with the final survivors in this movie. I thought Alejandro Aja did a really good job with this movie. I think that this movie actually was better than the original movie was. That doesn't usually happen with me. I typically like the original movie better. I'm a big fan of most of the remakes that have come out in the recent years, which seems to be an awful lot. But most of the time, I like the original movie most, or I like the original movie more than the remake. But this is one of the ones where I actually like the remake more than the original. I know I may get stricken by lightning in the horror movie community for saying such a thing, but I did. I like the more modern spin on this movie. I really thought he did a fantastic job. I loved the scenery. I thought the acting was great. Visually, I thought it was really nice. It was very violent. It was very gory and bloody. I like that in a horror movie. A movie such as this needs something like that to more shock value of what you're actually dealing with. The makeup effects were really good in there. The mutants look grotesque as they should. Just overall, I just think that it was a better product than the original movie was. I actually didn't realize until somebody asked me to watch this movie that I only had this on DVD. I didn't realize that I didn't have this on Blu-ray. I actually have the remake of The Hills Have Eyes 2, the original Hills Have Eyes, and the original Hills Have Eyes 2. I have all three of those movies on Blu-ray, but apparently I don't have the Hills Have Eyes on Blu-ray. I only have it on standard definition DVD. So now there's something, another movie I got to add to my wish list. All right, folks, that's going to do it for my review of the remake of The Hills Have Eyes. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. I would love for you to go on this journey with me. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, have a kick-ass day, and thank you for watching.